are regularly used by the Russian President Vladimir Putin, touched down at the Moscow-Vnukovo International Airport, to mark the arrival in Moscow of the President of Burkina Faso, Captain Ibrahim Traore. The plane was coming directly from Burkina Faso, where it had departed the Ouagadougou International Airport at 9:25 a.m. local time in Burkina, while ferrying the 37-year-old leader to Russia, for him to join the Russian president and 28 other foreign heads of state, in attending the celebrations marking the 80th anniversary of the Great Russian Victory, or rather the Soviet Union's defeat of Nazi Germany in World War II. Captain Ibrahim Traore was among the special guests in Moscow, and to honor their cordial relationship, the Russian President Vladimir Putin had deployed the presidential jet to Ouagadougou on May 7, 2025, with the plane arriving in the Sahel country at 2:18 p.m. on the same day, for it to pick up Traore and take him to Moscow the following day. And upon the Burkina leader landing in Moscow, he was received at the airport by several high-ranking members of the Russian government who represented President Vladimir Putin. It's to be noted that it was in view of the strong partnership links between Burkina Faso and the Russian Federation that the Russian leader also invited Captain Ibrahim Traore, and he honored the invitation as a gesture that he approves his relationship with Putin.
Ibrahim Traore! Oh, le lion d'Afrique!
Look at that, the president of Burkina Faso is giving the salute to the Russian anthem. Respect. Burkina Faso, very good boy, very good job. I shouldn't say good boy, we should say good man. But in Russian it means молодец, good boy. There he is, look at that, look at that. What a champion, what a legend.
Comrade President Vladimir Putin,
Camarade Président Chef d'État africain,
African heads of state,
Camarade Chef de
Comrade
Délégation,
Head of Delegation,
Bonjour.
good morning. It is an honor for me this morning to take the floor here and to pass on to you the fraternal greetings of the people of the land of men of integrity. It is from the Almighty that we have been able to gather here this morning in good health to talk about the future and the well-being of our people. I am going to apologize to the elders whom I may offend in my future remarks. Because of Africanity, because of the rights of one of them, I have to apologize. Comrade, I have a few questions from my generation. Not a single question that is being asked. We don't have an answer, and it turns out that here we can wash our linseed because we feel like a family. It feels like a family in the sense that Russia is also a family for Africa. It is a family because we have the same history. Russia made enormous sacrifices to liberate the world from Nazism during the Second World War. The people of Africa, our grandfathers, were also forcibly deported to help Europe get rid of Nazism. We share the same history in the sense that we are the forgotten peoples of the world, whether in the history books, in documentaries, or in film, insofar as we sweep away the preponderant role played by Russia and Africa in this fight against Nazism. We are here together because we are here to talk about the future of our peoples and what is to come. Of the future of tomorrow, of the free world to which we aspire, of a world without interference in our internal affairs. We have the same prospects, and I hope that this summit will be an opportunity to forge very good relations and to create a better future for our peoples. The questions that my generations are asking themselves about the next generation, if I can sum it up, is that they do not understand how Africa, with so much wealth on our soil, with its generous nature, water and abundant sunshine, Africa is today the poorest continent. Africa is a starving continent, and how is it that our heads of state are traveling through the world of a man? These are questions that we are asking ourselves and that we have not yet had answers. We have the opportunity to forge new relationships, and I hope that these relations can be the best, to give a better future to our peoples. My generation also instructs me to say that because of poverty, they are forced to cross the ocean in order to try to reach Europe. They die in the ocean, but that soon they will not have crossed it because they will come in front of our palaces to look for their daily sustenance.
But from the soil of my homeland, the land of Burkina Faso, where dust mingles with the blood of our martyrs, and the echoes of revolution are louder than the hum of foreign drones overhead. I am not writing as a man seeking approval, nor as one entangled in diplomatic pleasantries. I write to you as a son of Africa, bold, bruised, unbowed. You are now the spiritual father to more than 1 billion souls, including millions here in Africa. You inherit not just a church, but a legacy, and in this moment of transition, while white smoke still lingers above Vatican rooftops, I must send this letter across seas and sands, beyond guards and gates directly to your heart, because history demands it, because truth compels it, because Africa, the wounded and the rising, is watching. Your Holiness, we Africans know the power of the cross. We know the hymns, the prayers, the litanies. We have built churches with calloused hands and defended our faith with our blood. But we also know another truth, one that too many prefer to bury, that the church at times walked beside colonizers, that while missionaries prayed for our souls, soldiers looted our lands, that while your predecessors spoke of heaven, our ancestors were chained on earth. And even now, in this so-called modern age, we feel the chains still not of iron, but of silence, of indifference, of geopolitical games played in holy shadows. So I ask in the name of the mothers who pray on dirt floors and the children who learn catechism with empty stomachs, will your papacy be different? Will you be the Pope who sees Africa not as a periphery but as the prophetic center? Will you be the Pope who does not only visit slums for photo opportunities, but who dares to speak with rage against the forces that make those slums permanent? You see, Your Holiness, I am a man shaped by war, not wealth. I was not groomed for politics by Western institutions. I was not taught diplomacy in Paris. I learned leadership in trenches among the people where pain is teacher and hope is resistance. I lead a nation that was tossed aside by the world until we refused to be silent. We were told we were too poor to be independent, too weak to be sovereign, too unstable to resist. But I tell you this with the thunder of ancestors in my voice. We are done asking for permission to exist. We are done pleading for validation from powers who exploit our minerals while preaching morality. And we are done, absolutely done, watching global spiritual leaders turn their eyes from Africa's cries because the politics are inconvenient. Your Holiness, I speak now not only for Burkina Faso, but for a continent too long patronized. Africa is not a continent of pity, we are a continent of prophets. Prophets who were jailed, exiled, and murdered for daring to challenge the empire. And you, now that you wear the ring of St. Peter Mazisite, will you walk in the path of the prophets? Or will you too be a prisoner of politics? We need no more platitudes. We do not need more thoughts and prayers while Western firms extract uranium from Niger, gold from Congo under armed guard. We do not need diplomatic neutrality while African youth drown in the Mediterranean fleeing wars they did not start, waged with weapons they did not make. We do not need saccharine statements while African sovereignty is auctioned off behind closed doors in Brussels, Washington, and Geneva. What we need is a pope who will name the modern-day Herods, who will thunder against economic empires just as boldly as the church once thundered against communism, who will say without apology that it is a sin for nations to profit from the destruction of Africa. You know, the teachings of Christ, you know, he flipped the tables of money changers. You know, he said, blessed are the peacemakers, but he never said, blessed are the appeasers. So I ask you personally, will you speak against the silence of France and its shadow operations in the Sahel? Will you condemn the arms deals that fuel proxy wars in our deserts and forests? Will you name the greed that dresses itself in charity? The diplomacy that cloaks imperialism in peace talks? Because we see it act, we live it. Your Holiness, I do not ask you to be African. I ask you to be human, to be moral, to be brave. Because courage, real courage, is not blessing the powerful. It is defending the powerless when it costs something.
My good people, wherever you're watching from, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, because I don't know where you are by this time, but I hope that you are doing good. And that was just an invitation of African President Captain Ibrahim Traore in Russia. And this was not just an invitation to ceremony, but this was another picture of another level, of another image of Africa. Because as you know that today, the whole of African continent is only depending in one person. And the person is Ibrahim Traore, because when you compare, when you take African continent of today, this the citizens of African continents is like they are now not recognizing their leaders. They are all talking of Ibrahim Traore. They are all praising Ibrahim Traore just because of the good work he's doing in Africa. Because since he came to power, he never only relied on to shape Burkina Faso, but he is concerning of all African countries, all the African continent. Since the existence of the world, Africa has never been taken seriously as the continent. Africans has never been taken seriously as the people who has to be taken care of, who has to be seen as humans, who has to be treated in humanity way. But during the slavery time, Africans were labeled as the monkeys. As you know, monkeys lives on the trees. Monkeys lives in the forests. But we don't live in the forests. We don't live on the trees. But why do they label us as monkeys? Just because of our skin color? Wow, that's so funny. We were known as monkeys since the existence of the world. And now, even after the colonization time came to pass, our colonizers never take us or never looked upon us as human beings. And that's why they have been taking Africa something like something not serious to them. That's why they have been treating Africans like nobody. That's why they have been treating Africans with the inhuman. So all the African leaders, the one who we have to put our measures and our faith on them, they are not concerning on the affairs of Africa anymore. They are only concerning on the affairs that favors themselves. They are only working under democracy that is protecting them. As per now, in one way or the other, we may go to our World War III. That can happen. And if this happens, America is the superpower of the world of today. But America is not treating the world as it is supposed to treat, just like the superpower. Because America is only taking advantages on some countries. Since Donald Trump came to power, you have seen how many incidents has happened. You have seen everything has changed. Anything that has going on in the world has changed, and everything has been circulated. He started by deporting Africans to their countries, cutting off aids that has been helping Africans for many years. The problem is not that, but since if you are helping someone and he say that it's enough, now it's time that I can stand by myself. It's time that I can arrange myself, and maybe I can stand and defend myself. So why do you have to force? If it comes to the point that you are forcing to help this person, it means that this person is not the one who is benefiting from you. It's not the one who is benefiting from support, but it's either vice versa. It's either side. You are the one who are benefiting from this person in the name of helping him. So this is what is happening between the African countries and the Europe countries. France tried to show the interest of giving up, and now US has come in and take the steps where France has stopped. And that's why we are seeing many things that are happening in Burkina Faso, many accusations. We have been under colonization for many times, for many years, over decades. There are a lot of presidents that have been in power, but they have did nothing in Africa. They have did nothing to change Africa. They have did nothing to to provide the needs of Africans to their lands. So when we say that it's time we have find someone who can do this, it becomes like a threat to some people. And that's why the Africans, instead of building, it's being destroyed each and every day. We had people like Lumumba of Congo. Take a look at the situation that is going on in Congo today. Congo, since the assassination of Lumumba, Congo has never been the same. Congo has never found peace. The people of Congo or Congolese has never been able to settle in their lands. They are running up and down here and there just like refugees. They are always known as refugees in some people's countries, while they have left their land, the beautiful land, the land enriched with the gold and the oil minerals, and they are starving and going through hard life in some people's land, just like refugees in refugees camps. So how long will Africa continue with this situation? How long? I had the other clip. We have many people who are supporting Ibrahim Traore, the people who are not black. Let me give you an example of a few clips that people who are praising Ibrahim Traore and they are praying for Africa to get its freedom, its independence, and to get free from the hands of colonizers.
I just watched President Traore's speech. This man is so wise, it's not even funny, all right? Mr. President, you said that they want to control your resources and then your youth is forced to migrate over there to make a living. You are absolutely right. On top of it, what they do to those people that migrate here, it's shameful. They send ICE to detain them and to deport them. These days, they don't even send back to the original country, they send them to El Salvador. I am the prime example of how ruthless America has become. I married a US citizen 14 years ago, and they still detained me back in Hawaii, and they tried to deport me. Yeah, they treat like shit anybody who they think they're below them. I applaud you, Mr. President Traore, for standing.
But ultimately, I think that Africa needs to learn from China, from Korea, from Iran, and from Russia, who first had these beautiful revolutions that commanded the respect. Then they developed their militaries, they developed nuclear bombs, they developed all these sorts of things, and then they built their economies. We're sitting here and we're talking about being in the United Nations, having a rotating seat in the United Nations Security Council. We're talking about the economic plans of Africa in the future, new currencies, African Union. All of that doesn't mean a whole lot if the West is going to come in and trample all over you. What good is a seat at the United Nations if they're not going to listen to you? The United States has to listen to China. They have to listen to Russia because China and Russia have a bunch of nuclear bombs that are already pointed at every Western city. Now, of course, I support Africa having nuclear bombs. I understand we're far away from that, and maybe it's a bit controversial to say that. But what I think we also need to understand is that Africans are dealing with this. I think the West needs to get very worried about the potential for Africa to assert its own sovereignty and command respect in the same way that we're seeing in the new Confederation states, but all across Africa. And maybe it only starts with one or two nations, but that's exactly what we saw with Iran and Syria. And now look at the United States.
Those are the people who are not Africans, who are not blacks. But you see, you hear what they are saying about Africa. They are even more, the people from different people from different areas are so concerned about Africa, because what has been going on in African continent is not something that can please anyone. Anyone who has the heart to feel, anyone who has the way to feel humanity cannot accept to see what is going on in Africa. rumors that is going on that America and France are after Russia and China, just because Russia and China is trying to defend Africa. Russia and China is taking advantage of deploying their troops in Africa so that they can control the minerals of Africa. And that's why we said, and we normally say, that the only problem that is here is not the people of Africa, but the main problem that is in here is about the resources. Because when you control the resources of Africa, it means that you are going to control the world. Because if you want to control the world, you have to control the mineral of Africa, of course. So when the America or the countries from Europe sees that Africa is now strongly collaborating with the countries of Asia like China and Russia, then it becomes the problem. And that's so. And for a very long time, Russia, China, and America, they have not been in a good mode. So this has become like a threat, and it has become like a quarrel between these countries, because they are all fighting in one thing. The aim is to control the mineral of Africa. So because France has lost all of his territories in Africa, now it's leaning in the back of America so that it can get and restore what it has lost. But at this time, we think that we can say that it's too late, because now Africa will not be able to allow this to happen. We have decided one thing: whether you die or you live, but we will die fighting for what it belongs to us. We will die fighting to reclaim our properties. And this time round, we are not going to let these people come and manipulate us. This time round, there is nothing you are going to come and tell us, because we have already know everything beyond your steps, beyond your status. And now this time we are going to protect Africa in all means, because we have find some people who are trying so hard to defend and hold the foundation of Africa, and they're trying to show us that we can do without some people, and maybe we can do with some people. Then we are going to follow the way of our leaders, the leaders who are trying to show us which way to follow. And we will not get tired. We will fight until our last drop. This is Kenyan Explorer. Today I had not much to say. I just wanted to listen to the speech of Ibrahim Traore, the African president, the captain in Russia, because we believe that he's going to make a better speech that is going to favor the concerns of Africans. And that is what he has done. And we are proud of Ibrahim Traore. We are not just proud or happy of Ibrahim Traore because we love him, but we love what he is doing. Just like the other way around, the Europe countries don't love Africans, but they love African minerals. You see, they love African minerals, but they don't love the color of Africans. So there are two different things. We don't love Ibrahim Traore, but we love what Ibrahim Traore is doing. And when we love Ibrahim Traore for what he's doing, it means that we have to love him with all that he's doing, not the other round. So tell me what you think to the comment section, you as the supporter of Ibrahim Traore, whether you are in Africa, you are in the diaspora, wherever you are, as long as you are in this journey, as long as we are together in this and we are fighting for this, let's discuss in the comment section. Let's educate each other. Let's discuss and know more about what is happening and what must be happen in African continent, in our motherland, in Al-Keblan, the source of mankind. Don't forget to subscribe the channel for more updates. I love you and I thank you for your time and your support. Thank you.